got a number of pickups to catch up on today across 3 systems, the PS3, the DS and the Switch. We'll start off with this one, Mafia 2. This one was a pickup previously, but it was intriguing to me because there was a slot for a second disc, and as far as I knew, Mafia 2 is a 1-disc game, so I was curious what that second disc was. Doing a little bit of digging, found that the Steelbox limited edition version of Mafia 2 came with a official orchestral score. While I was digging around, that orchestral score by itself was not cheap. However, I came across a listing of Mafia 2 that was not listed as a special edition. It was just listed there by itself, and the clock was about to run down in the auction and no one had bid, and the starting price was extremely low. I was able to pick up this version with the orchestral score, with the disc in better condition than the original one that I got, and also the steelbook in better condition. The first one had weathered somewhat, and as you can see side by side, the quality of that front image on the new one is much better. It still has the marks of rust in there, but it's been in a better environment. The rust on the first one that I found was obviously not in such a good environment, and the rust has expanded a little bit more and the surface of the steelbook has faded a bit more. You can see it lights up a little bit more in these areas across the ground. So I've picked this one up, which is now going to be part of my collection. I'm swapping it out. So this is now a complete limited edition of Mafia 2 on the PS3. This one I'm going to throw on eBay or Gumtree or whatever to sell off to someone else that may want it, that either has the orchestral score or doesn't care about it and just cares more about the steelbook. Steelbook still looks fantastic, and in some cases with that extra wear on the surface, it gives it a more authentic sort of Mafia feel about it, but I'd prefer to have the one that is closer to as new off the shelf. So that's the first one, which is a swap out improvement of existing pickups, and also an explanation of what that missing disc was about. So really happy to pick that one up. I'll jump back to the DS. Now I've got another pickup which was just up the road, and I managed to get in really quickly before anyone else, and this one was off Marketplace. Unfortunately, it did come with the obligatory brain training, in this case more brain training. It is a complete, but I already have a complete with manual, so that one will also go into the sell pile. But the ones that came up with it were both Professor Layton that I don't have, and we have Professor Layton and the Lost Future, and once again complete with manual. So that is an addition to the collection. And the second one is Professor Layton and the Last Spectre. Once again, one that I don't have, and once again complete with manual. So both those are fantastic pickup. The price I picked these up for was just basic DS game prices, and as we all know, the Professor Layton series have gone up in price, some of them more so than others. So really wrapped about that pickup. Brain training will get sold. The Professor Laytons get added to my collection. Second one that I've picked up on the PS3. Now this one was from eBay. It's one that I've been keeping an eye out for a long time. Unfortunately, the price has just gone up and up and up, and it's sort of been more than what I was willing to pay for it. But I found a copy complete with manual in really good condition on the disc. No scratches anywhere, and this was at basically a standard retail price. And once again, why no one picked it up, I don't know. It is the American release of it, but PS3's not region specific, and this one was for sale in Australia. It's the only reason I can think that it may have gone cheaper was that maybe it wasn't being sold to an overseas market and was being sold only locally within Australia, and it was the American release of it. For me, I don't care. That's actually of more value generally, and I do sell overseas when I come to sell, although I won't be selling this one. This one goes in my collection and stays in my collection. It's one I've been keeping an eye out for a long time. Bit of a holy grail one for me. One that I thought I probably would never pick up simply because of the price going up and up on that one. So this is one that gets talked about a lot across various YouTubers, and it is one of those ones that's exclusive to PlayStation 3 and has a unique gameplay and the ability to play as a couple of different characters, giving you multiple story playthroughs, and I am really looking forward to getting into that one. Moving on to the Switch, there's a couple here of interest. Now, one I mentioned in, without naming it, when I did the short video reviewing the tripod. The game that I bought was Immortals Phoenix Rising. Now, this is not expensive to buy anymore. You can pick them up around about $20. I was about $10 short on getting free delivery on my Amazon purchase of the tripod. The freight cost would have been $10. So I picked up Immortals Phoenix Rising, which effectively meant for an extra $10 over the price of the tripod and what I would have been charged for the freight charge, I picked up Immortals Phoenix Rising. It is one that I've been keeping an eye out, trying to pick it up second-hand cheap. It just hasn't appeared anywhere that I've come across yet, but I was in no great rush. Being a Zelda-like one, it is one that is of interest to me. So this was a great opportunity to pick that one up. It's brand new, sealed, and it was from an Australian Amazon store, so it is the Australian release of Immortals Phoenix Rising. Not that that makes much difference, given that it's not an expensive game, but one that I'm glad to get into my collection. The next one, which I've been keeping an eye out for a while, and once again, they've been expensive. Why this one was cheaper, I cannot tell you. No reason. The download code for Bayonetta 1 was already used and is not available to use. It doesn't even appear in the case anymore, just the card. I'm not concerned about that at all because I have a physical version of Bayonetta 1 in English, so this is just filling in the gap between Bayonetta 1 and 3, both which I already have. Didn't have to. Of course, I do have them on the Wii U. I have the limited edition 1 and 2 dual release, but this is uplifting that to the Switch. I didn't have this game on the Switch, so I'm glad that I've got that full set. The only one I don't have now is the prequel, Cereza or something like that, which I'm keeping an eye out for. Unfortunately, that did skyrocket up a bit. I missed it on the initial, so I'm sort of holding out to see if that one comes down in price, and we'll see what happens there. Cereza I'm not overly keen on. It's a shame to have the rest of the set and not have it. So that's those two. Now, the third and final one of this video for the Switch is one that, once again, I thought I would never have, and it's one of those ones that a lot of people talk about. It's a Metroidvania style, listed as reasonably hard, not extremely long, but well worth the play, and it was released by Limited Run Games, and the price just shot up. And it was one of those ones I thought, yeah, I'm never buying that unless I find it in someone's collection. They don't realise what they've got. But Fangamer has done a re-release, and that recently became available in Australia. It was through JB Hi-Fi. It popped up for pre-order a number of months back. So I put put my name down on that, prepaid for it, and have been waiting for quite some time. That finally turned up just last week, so I am rapt to get this one. Currently sealed. It will get unsealed and will get played. From what I've seen, very enjoyable game. There is difficulty there. It is fast paced from what I can tell, and it looks like it'll be a real blast. This is a great example of sometimes it's worth not diving in and just saying, oh well, when the prices go up, because occasionally there are re-releases. The same thing happened on Xenoblade Chronicles Torna. That got a second release by Nintendo. I actually have 2 copies of that. One I managed to buy it straight away before they all disappeared, and the second one, the prices had skyrocketed. I noticed there was a re-release, so I grabbed a second copy. Given time, I expect that even though there was a re-release, I don't think it was a huge re-release, and it did drop the price on Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Torna, but I believe over time this one will go back up in price. So I bought a second copy to help offset the cost of some of my others. So one of these will get sold in the future, but it's a long-term investment. If it doesn't go up in price, I don't expect it to really go down, because it by many is considered to be a better game than the initial Xenoblade Chronicles 2, and I haven't played it yet, but from what I've heard, it is a whole game within itself, so looking forward to that one. But these 3 are items that I've been keeping an eye out for my collection. Wrapped, that I've got Folklore. Wrapped, that I've got a couple of Professor Layton, and also ecstatic that I've managed to pick up Mafia 2 with the orchestral CD, so that I have a complete copy and that it's in the condition that it's in. So whether you play or collect, happy hunting.